the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show, New Year's edition. It's a new year, 2022, and it is episode 54. Today, you're going to get a sneak peek at the Vegas market, what's behind the scenes with Bedding Industries of America. David Tenuta and Steve Karns will be with us. And right before we get to that, let me pay the bills really quick. If you have not bought my book, Sell a Million, it's 101 ways to sell more mattresses and furniture if you own a furniture or a mattress store. If you haven't got it, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and grab it. It's on Amazon right now. And my good friends at Mattress Industry Network, thank you so much for your sponsorship, Steve. I appreciate you more than you know. And this is a group of over 1,100 members of the mattress industry who want to get better. And it is the only industry network Facebook group that I know of that is run by retailers for retailers with no ulterior motives. The Mattress Industry Network group is focused on helping you build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry. It's a free group. What are you waiting for? There it is. If you're listening to this on the podcast, go to YouTube. The link's right there. Facebook.com/group/Mattress Industry Network. Join it now. It's free. You will be with like-minded individuals who want to get better at selling mattresses. If you're in the mattress industry, you are qualified. And there are a few questions you got to answer at the beginning. Be sure to do that. David and Steve, welcome to the show. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Hey, Pete. Good morning.
You know, just for those who aren't up to speed, Eclipse is now rebranded as Bedding Industries of America. It's a great group. It is probably the most vibrant group that I have seen. When we go to market and we look at what is being presented that's new, what's exciting, what's happening, what challenges are preconceived notions of what a bed should look like, I always come back to you guys. You guys bring more to every market than anybody else. And I would just love to be a fly on the wall and go, what are you guys like talking about? Like, you know, you're doing your chalkboard sessions and someone comes up with this idea and you guys run with it. And it's like, you know, I see more color. I see more unique selling stories that, you know, a real mattress salesperson can really sink their teeth into at the point of sale, really get excited about product that not only looks better, but actually feels better. So give us a little preview of market. And by the way, you're going to be in space B1118, right? B1118.
That's correct.
So I said that a funny way. Be there. It is the by far most exciting market spot that I've been to in years. What are you guys up to?
So, Pete, you said, you know, how do we do it? It's actually pretty easy. You know, we have a great collection of minds here at BIA. And it all starts at the top, like in any organization. Stuart Carlitz has a vision for this business like no other. He conveys those images to us. And David is the opera. He takes those ideas and he makes them something special. He gives them the identity to that brand. And then they usually pass them down to me, and I try to put specifications to some of those ideas. So collectively, we also have Matt Connolly in that mix. Matt is just, we always say Matt's never wrong. And one time he thought he was, but he was mistaken. and then we also have Mark Dentali in that group, which is absolutely what an asset he's been to our business. And then our newest member, who's actually our CFO, Mr. Steve Shortino. He's become a big part of everything that we do here.
Is that 3 Italians now?
I think it is. We're outnumbered. And by the way, my name is the Quaker because I live in Pennsylvania. So I live west of the Schuylkill River.
Right. And to them, and if you listen real closely, he talks different.
So they don't think that
they don't got an accent.
Yeah, nothing west of the Schuylkill River is Pennsylvania, according to my comrades here.
So, just in really broad strokes, Bed Industries of America is a collection of brands. It is not limited to one brand. Can you talk about that a little bit, guys?
I'm gonna step on Dave just for a minute. I like to call it the Big E. We have Eclipse and Eastman House, and somebody referred to us as the Big E a few years ago, and I never forgot that terminology. We do so many things so well. I'm a 42 years today, veteran of the industry. David probably outnumbers me, and we really push that envelope to make things special. I mean, if you aren't compelling, if you're not of value at everything that you do, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
That's true. As you know, we're probably rebranding ourselves called Bedding Industries of America, which is like General Motors, but it's really defining sleep. We're kind of a quasi-private label line that resonates. I'm real concerned that we have to help brick and mortar more. We're not ignoring e-commerce, Pete, but when you open up this store or that store, you got to have a brand that resonates. You got to give it semi-exclusive. They got to make money. And the brand's got to have a personality. You got to have quality. We have a joke here. The bottle of beer has got to taste better. The bottle of beer has got to look better. The bottle of beer has got to be priced well. You can tell I'm from Milwaukee. But at the same time, we must make the RSA, because the buyer buys only once. Keep on forgetting. The buyer can be your brother-in-law. Everything happens with the RSA on the floor. They don't get it. They don't feel good about themselves. It's not going to work. So what Steve and I do, and Matt and Mark, we make sure it's effective with display, quality, specifications, look, design for the person on the RSA to understand it in less than 60 seconds and make a pitch. That's the key. Not easy, but that's our ultimate goal.
Okay. Sell it in 5 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm.
That's that puts a lot of onus on the look and feel of the bed, which is where it should be anyway. I've always said, ideally, if you could put a masking tape over the top of your RSA's mouth, put blinders on top of your consumer, and just have them lay on the bed and move them from bed to bed. If it's perfectly merchandised, you wouldn't even have to talk about specs because they could feel a difference. But we all know, we've been, I'm the young guy here, and I've been in it 40 years now. We all know that the look is so important because we're not really selling Mr. Jones. We're selling Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones is the ultimate decision maker. Sometimes we as an industry have forgotten that. And we can't remind ourselves enough about that. And David, especially the Hemingway collection. I mean, if anything,
I do want to bring, now that you brought that up, Pete, I want to make
go ahead.
I came to this company 5 years ago, and I had many, many, many years with Heirloom, Earl Cluft and I. Hemingway attracted me. It didn't till recently take off like it has, Pete, because I guess I kind of made it look like an heirloom. It was priced like an heirloom. It didn't have the personality. So I kind of took it off the shelf for 2 years. I took it away from the franchises. We got to do it right. I have to get the people 45 and under to understand Hemingway. It has 92% Brand familiarity. You hear what I just said? If you owned a furniture store doing $10 million, Pete, it has more recognition than Beautyrest, Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Heirloom, Schiffman. It ranks up with Ashley and Lazy Boy, the third most brand familiar name from all type of economic things. So the Hemingway, which also does 23 other products, from sunglasses to fishing equipment to hardwood floors. But we had to do one thing. We had to take old vintage and make it modern. We had to make it resonate. I didn't want to be only 17% of the business. I wanted 62 to 65% of Americans and have true affordable luxury. I had to have outstanding looks and covers, outstanding specifications. The dealer's got to make money. It took 2 years to do, Pete. Yeah. We have over 7 top 100 retailers already made a commitment nationwide with it. So again, it's going to be one of our biggest focuses at Vegas, along with Millbrook and Natural Dreams. Millbrook is a joint venture with fine people from England. But again, they got to resonate. The toughest thing I have, and Pete, you probably can relate to this, Pete, because we're cut from the same cloth. I can't sell myself. I get excited too much. I got to sit back, and when I have Matt and Steve, who are my toughest critics, take the ball and run with it, it makes me feel great. Matter of fact, at High Point in Vegas, they're going to do the meeting. They don't want to hear it from me because they know I believe in it. When my partners here are excited they're opening accounts without me begging them to do it, I feel great.
It's on fire. It's so unique. It's so eye-popping at retail. I mean, it separates itself out of the sea of Manila.
Well, it's $7.99 to $21.99.
And that was the other big point that I was going to make is that, we had it positioned as a higher end line. And what we did, and David and I talked about this for great lengths, is to get it down into that affordable luxury category. And, we really are chasing this one. It's on fire. Everybody that we showed it to, they just fall in love with it. We had a major retailer come in to our showroom here in New Jersey, and they said best looking line of bedding that they've seen in 15 years. And I think that's a pretty powerful statement.
That's music to your ears. All those nights with those covers, figuring out this one or this one or this one, and putting it together, and But
Peter, the thing is, I didn't pick the covers. I went to 2 or 3 top lady designers, and they picked them. I don't count.
Yeah.
And that nautical look that we came up with, I mean, it's mind-boggling how different it makes a bed look. And by the way, been around long enough, I can sort of remember some beds like that, I think in the 80s, but it's fresh today.
Yeah.
Nope.
And nautical, I mean, anybody that's read Hemingway, right? I mean, it automatically puts you there.
Yep.
So that's powerful. And listen, we could spend all day talking about Hemingway. But this is what I'd like to say to a retailer who's going to Vegas. If you're going to Vegas, you absolutely owe it to yourself to see this line, but there's 6 other lines there, guys. It's not just Hemingway. But I'm telling you right now, I'll give you $100 bill if you go in there and you look at Hemingway and you tell me that it wasn't worth it, because I guarantee you it's going to blow you away. It's worth it, but there's so much more. Listen, if you're a retailer and you're going, $799 to $2,100, I want something higher end. Guess what? We have something higher end. We have Millbrook. And, if you want something lower, there's stuff that's lower too. But the reality is those are really great sweet spots for price points these days, especially these days with all of the increases that we as an industry have endured in the last 18 months. It's just been astronomical. Now, I saw somebody posted something and they said, yeah, 12% for furniture. And I said, try 40 to 50% for furniture and right around 40% collectively for mattresses. So, we've been affected by that. But the one thing that's been good, even though our supply chain has been challenged, we are able to make deliveries. Can't make them in a few days like we used to, but within 2 weeks we can get product, which is, compared to the furniture industry, some of the best selling furniture living room sets are not available for a half a year to a year now. So we are really blessed to be in the industry that we're in, because at least we can deliver, even though it's a little slower than we'd like it to be. It's much better than it was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, we're all pulling our hair out of our head.
I was told a long, long time ago, when I started, is that you got to sell what you have. And for those retailers that didn't focus on mattresses in the last 18 months, they really missed the boat, because this was a great opportunity to expand their mattress business and also keep those delivery trucks rolling.
That's a great point. I had a furniture retailer say to me, I don't know what to do. I said, if you can't get it for a year, take it off the floor and put a mattress in the slot. Come on. I mean, you're limited in your mattress department. Everybody's mattress department who's in the on a furniture floor showroom, everybody's mattress department should be growing exponentially, should be doubling or tripling in size, because you can get it. And any good salesman wants something that he or she can ship right away to the consumer. And the consumers are coming in after they shopped one store. They know what the deal is. They've been educated. They know that they can't get stuff. So their first question is, show me something I can get in the next 2 weeks. Show me something that I can get right away if they need it right away. And so it's a great point, Steve. For years and years and years, we've all been trying to help our retail furniture brothers really see the value in mattresses. But now more than ever, you really need to look at how you're allocating your floor space by category.
Yep. Hey, I know you mentioned about shipping. We have something that we're going to also show brand new in Vegas in January, and that is our Lifetime collection. It's a Eastman House Lifetime. We actually had these mattresses there for the last market, and what we're doing is we're expanding that assortment. And one of the things that we're doing, which is really unique, is we're going to bring 2 roll-packed, 2-sided, hand-tufted mattresses to market.
Oh, and,
wow. These beds use all higher density foams. We're using a quantum edge spring system in there. We put the old BCI cotton covers on it, Better Cotton Initiative covers. So that the proceeds go back to the third world countries that raise the cotton. They are absolutely phenomenal. We're so excited about bringing that to market. We've had a lot of interest in this product because it is so unique to the roll pack business.
Well, you know something, Steve? And I said this when you showed it to me. You fooled me. These don't look like roll pack beds.
Yeah.
These look like normal luxury beds. And again, we owe it to brick and mortar for them to close the deal and not make people shop. And the competition is not just down the street; it's a damn e-com.
Yep.
And the beds look like a normal, good quality bed. 2-sided, phenomenal.
Well, the Lifetime that I saw, what I just absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. It's a heavy. The first thing that you'll notice if you pick it up, or I should say try to pick it up, because if you're not super strong, you're not going to be able to pick it up.
Yep.
It's that heavy. It's a battleship. I mean, it is a literal battleship.
Yep.
And it deserves a 20-year warranty. It's
Yep.
not just a marketed 20-year warranty. Keep our fingers crossed and hope.
Yeah. No, we don't do that.
We know that bed, the way it's built, as tightly as it's constructed,
Yep.
with the quality components that exists in it, it's going to hold up for 20 years.
Yeah,
Easy.
on the flat pack versions of the beds, we're using the heavy duty 12.5 gauge double offset 6-turn super duty units, and again all 2-pound foams. They are just literally indestructible beds, 2-sided. You can keep flipping them. These are meet the name lifetime mattresses.
Well, what are they going to retail for, Steve?
We're going to be $12.99.
I mean,
With a really good margin for the retailers.
that's great.
So
That's a great price point.
Yeah. And by the way, they have the look. They have they're everything about them step up.
Yeah. They don't look like anything on your floor. If you're a retailer and you're tired of everything looking alike on your floor, you really, really have to come into this space, because you're going to see things that look completely different than any of your competitors have. You know what? As a matter of fact, I usually wait to halftime, but I'm going to jump into this right now. So I always read one chapter in my book. It takes 1 to 2 minutes. So it's for those of you at home, it's page 121, chapter 83. And you guys could have written this. Differentiate or die. You as a retailer should not just blindly buy the same manufacturers as your competitors. There are some really great little known products that give your store great margins and your customers a great product. Do your homework. Know all your competitors and the lines they carry. It's a lot of work, but it's work that you must do. Strive to have a store that looks different and feels different than your competitors. Most stores that you think are successful aren't. Go back and reread that again. And I am going to reread it. Most stores that you think are successful aren't. So point is, don't copy them. This entire book is about showing up differently than your competitors in your advertising, in your merchandising, in your display, sales training, and service policies and procedures. Find an unmet need and fill that need for your customer. When the Ellman family sold IBC years ago, and this was written in 2015, it's still viable. They left a gaping hole in the industry that was never filled. Their customers called them, imploring them to come back into the mattress industry. When their non-compete was up, the Ellmans in 2010 came back in the mattress industry. Since then, they've sold. And the reason is they found a gap. There is a gap in your marketplace. Find that gap and fill it better than any other store can. And what we've been talking about for the last half an hour is differentiating the look of your product, the feel of your product, and what's actually inside of your product. Who's using 12.5 gauge coils anymore? Very few people, and nobody's doing it at $12.99. Nobody. I mean, you could, Lifetime could just as easily be heavy duty or any other name. People aren't getting smaller these days. We would love to think that they are, but we're getting bigger as a society. Guess what? Heavy duty built, rugged mattresses are something every retailer should have and offer to their consumers, because if you don't, somebody else will, and they're going to get that customer. What do you think, guys?
Well, I wanted to, you hit a couple really, really important points there. One of the things that I preach all the time, which should be the title of your chapter. It's very, very difficult to prove that you're 20% better than somebody else. but it's very easy to show them you're 100% different. And I think that we do that very, very well, and just spinning back to how do you show you're 20% better? Usually the easiest way is by price. And what happens when you give up price? You give up margin. And what are we here for? It's definitely not to not make money.
Yep.
And Pete, I use the old story. Everybody has a mentor. Mine was Tom Peters. As he wrote In Search of Excellence and Pursuit of Wow, you are the brand.
Yep.
In order to be special, you must be special. Duh.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Pete, one thing we forget, and you've been a rep for your life, we're always going to be reps. There's another formula that we must understand. I'm not trying to be corny. You got to love your people. You got to call on people with sincerity. I always tell my people that work for me, I'll kill you if you bring in Dunkin' Donuts, bring in Panera. You must love your people.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just I read a book that I almost didn't read, and
it's a great book. You guys would love this. Larry Levine, Someone from the Heart. This is a great book.
and yes, it's corny.
And it's
true.
so important. You always hear about people talking about, do this, do that. Forget about all that stuff. Forget about, I have to ask this question here, this question next, this question. Forget about that. You know what? If you care about your customer more than the other store down the street cares about your customer, you are going to ask the right questions at the right time, and you're going to go further with your questions, and you're going to find the right mattress for them just because your heart's in the right place. And that's true whether you are an RSA, a sales pro at retail, or if you're a sales rep. If you don't ask enough questions and you don't go far enough into the customer's needs, then shame on you. You're doing what everyone else does. You're just looking for an easy lay down, and you're not diagnosing the problem. You're not going far enough. And listen, how do you know that you're going far enough? When it starts to get a wee bit uncomfortable for you. When you start to wonder, should I ask that question? You know what? You probably should. You probably should, because the guy down the street or the gal down the street, they're not asking that question. And when Mrs. Jones goes back and she's talking to Mr. Jones over the dinner table, who's going to be the topic of discussion? The person that was talking about buy a mattress because it's 50 or 70% off, or the one that asked a lot of questions about your health and really said, oh, this is the mattress for you based on everything that you said? Who are you going to remember? You're not going to remember the tour guide that just let you float around the store, never asked you a question, and didn't care. So I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent, guys.
No, we liked it. And by the way, is that not why we have the Pete Primeau show?
Yeah, it's exactly why we have the Pete Primeau show.
Yep.
Because I don't have the time to do this with everybody individually. And, it lives forever, and they can do what they want with it and watch it when they want.
Yep.
So
let's talk about. Thank you for having David and I today too, by the way.
No, my absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. So let's talk about Millbrook just a little bit, because that's really exciting to me.
Well, Millbrook started about 1.5 years ago. The Millbrook people, Ross Thurston, came to our space to meet Stuart. He was looking to build and produce a line in England other than Millbrook, and that was Chittenden Eastman House. And Stuart said, well, why don't we do Millbrook United States? So it's really a beautiful joint venture. Again, it had to follow what we do here. So again, I have a high-end background, as you know. I was with Heirloom, I was with Kingsdown, Viespring. Whatever we do still has to be a better value. And look what Viespring was doing, Heirloom, Schiffman. If we can make and produce Millbrook with the authenticity and follow their religion. Now, the key is they're following our religion of Eastman House and strategy in England.
And it's doing very well.
And what do we do here? We have to use, the Hampshire wool, the finest wool in England and Scotland. We have to be chemical free. We have to have side stitch. We want to be two-sided. And we want to be thousands of dollars less than Vice Spring, hundreds of dollars less than Heirloom. And it's got to be a better product and a better presentation. And we're going to win. Chemical free. People under 50 want different things in a person like me in my 60s. They care about planet Earth. They care about all natural. They care about sustainability. And everything is price competitive. If the average Millbrook bed is $5,000 to $7,000, that could still be a value because the other companies, which I mentioned, are $12,000 to $14,000. We have over 20 dealers nationwide already committed to Millbrook. So again, it's at a different level. We're not trying to overlap. It has a different personality. It has a different way, of being.
Yep. So we're doing direct imports on 2 models that are made and produced in the UK. And that's our 8,000 coil model and our 6,000 coil model. And then we have, and they're all side stitched and all chemical free. All beds, as you saw on the screen going up, all beds feature one black tuft in the bottom right-hand corner of the mattress. That's to represent the Hampshire sheep from the British Isle, which is some of the finest wool known to man. And that's our top layer in every one of the mattresses. And every bed carries that feature. So we have 4 domestically produced beds that follow the religion of the beds being made in the UK. Same covers, Hampshire wool. We were
Chemical free.
Yeah, chemical free. And we also, again, Stuart has driven us on a lot of these points. We came up with a pocketed quill foundation for these beds, which, how many times have we actually been down this road? The True Box spring underneath it. I'm telling you, you put that pocketed quill foundation underneath any of these beds, and it just improves the ride like you would not.
Gives you
believe.
a different. It's selling sofas, right? Why a cushion on an Italian hand-tie box for to beat a Marge Carson? It gives you a different ride.
And remember, we're talking about different price point here, and you want the very best, you're going to get the very best from us. These are exciting beds. This is what this is what bedding veterans dream at night.
Well, listen, we all love 8-way hand-tied coils. We all love them in boxes. We don't see them hardly anymore.
They're vanishing.
And they vanished. And now they're just starting to reappear in a few isolated places. And I'll tell you what, it does my heart good because I know how good that is for a consumer in terms of longevity too. It's just a much better way to go.
Yep. These are definitely worth the stop in and take a look at.
Now there's different sales training too. We have to get acclimated, our own people, because you sell it differently. It's not foam encased. Somebody sits on the edge of a mattress like me. I look like Tony Soprano. Hey, where's the foam encasement? Sir, a bed is not a chair. You sleep into a Millbrook, not onto it. The bed conforms to you, not your body to it. This is a working mattress. There's a different dance, Pete.
Yes.
Okay. I know. Again, is it theatrical? Damn right.
You bet.
Okay.
Well, one of the biggest mistakes that manufacturers make is we make what we perceive to be a great product. We make what we perceive to be something that Mrs. Jones wants, but And then we even go as far as to make some really cool POP for it. But then we stop there and we don't present to them a sell-in system that goes along with the product. And that's the big letdown. And if there's a chink in the armor today, the biggest one, where the rubber meets the road and where the greatest disappointment is for the retail consumer, is in the sales training for the RSAs. I'm sorry, 40 years into this, I wish I could say we did it. Congratulations,
Well,
we did it. We didn't do it.
Every people we open, either Steve Karns or myself, or Mark Tally, must be there to make the presentation to the RSA. Not saying we have 11 people that work for our own company here. Yeah, half of them can do it.
Yep.
But at this point, I'm not going to say I don't trust my sales force. It's got to be done right. We have to bring these RSAs into our factory and spend a day and make in Millbrook. We got to make them have this type of pride.
Yep.
And it isn't 85 pounds of cotton, 2 layers of latex, 6,000 coils. Yeah, it has all that in it, but it means nothing if you can't explain it correctly and what it does.
And as it's scheduled right now, Ross Thurston, who is the general manager of Millbrook, is scheduled to be in Vegas also. So, they're making a big commitment with us to the U.S. market on Millbrook bedding. And by the way, just a little side note, I thought it was very interesting. The way that the company started is the owner actually upholstered and tufted the chairs that went into, or the seats that went into the Spitfire fighter during World War II. So what a legacy this company brings with it too.
Yeah. That's so language is everything. And when you're working with a higher end customer, the language has to be different. And I think that it really speaks to your experience that you guys have made, the commitment that you've made to our retailers, where you guys actually come in and do the training to make sure that it's done right. Training is something that we pay lip service to it in the industry, but we don't do enough.
But Pete, guess what, Pete?
But you guys do. And
you have
so
good relationships in where you live in Ohio, Michigan. There's dealers, and I've worked effectively in 35 states, that came to me and say, I want Millbrook. I looked them in the eyes and said, I'm going to give you the best advice. No, because you'll fail with it. You have to know what retailer will embrace it. You have to know when to close a book and walk away. Because if you're going to give somebody an exclusive in Cincinnati or Milwaukee or Denver, Colorado, it's got to be the right person that understands the business, or save the pain. Save the pain. Walk away.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting religious.
No, that's true with any line. I mean, we have to share our thoughts, all of our thoughts, with our retailers. And if we don't think it's the right fit, we have an obligation to tell them that. And that's what separates us from the other guys.
I don't want to lose anymore.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
We play to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the best way to play to win is to make sure there's a good fit between what the retailer needs, their existing culture. And that doesn't mean that a retailer can't change, but if the top bet on their floor is $1,000, putting Millbrook on doesn't make sense. If they're selling some better quality beds, it might make sense. If they have some of those brands that you mentioned and they're getting a little bit of momentum, but not really what they want, there's a sweet spot. That's where it's a great fit for everybody, for us, for them, and for the consumer, who's really going to be able to walk out of that store and be very happy.
I'm not going to mention right now, it's too early, but Steve accomplished opening one of the finest stores that he's known to people for a long time. And I always say something here, and they finally figured out. You must do 3 beds a month, because the average retail invoice is $4,200. That equals $152,000 a year. That's $428 returned to square footage. I know this stuff, and people look at me, I'm crazy. But if I can't be 38 to 50% of their business at $2,000 and up, they shouldn't talk to me.
Right.
Let me do it. Let me put gold in your river. But if you don't know, if you don't interview your account, Pete, if you don't interview them and be a true partner, we're consultants. We're not salespeople.
Yep. 100%. 100%. So let's talk about, we talked about Hemingway. We talked about Millbrook. Let's talk about Eastman House, the other Big E.
Yes, the other Big E.
Is this Steve Eastman House Karns?
I love Eastman House. We have our New Yorkers there, and I know, Pete, you're sort of a fan of those. Again, it's not in the gray or black family. These are blue and silvers, and again, you want to talk about just extreme value. These beds are amazing. So we have a complete collection of the New Yorkers there. We take them the whole way up through our coil and coil construction, which is the backbone of Eastman House. It's one of the best constructions there. You can see a picture of it right there, top bed. The Eastman House New Yorkers. It was really inspired by Matt Connolly. We had a customer actually 3 years ago that came to us and said that they wanted us to hit that price point above $1,000. And we said, well, let's really analyze it. Let's come up with what we think would take us to that added value place. And Matt, myself, Dave, and Stuart sat down, and we developed these beds. They continue to be in the top 10 every single day in production. They have a look that's totally different. They have a quality statement to them that's spectacular. They're all hand tufted. We do a firm, a plush, a pillow top, and then the coil and coil at the top in the nucleus of the line. And it's just, if you're in the bedding business, this is where you want that $1,000 plus bedding to be.
All right. The other biggie, Eclipse.
Yes. Again, I'm gonna jump in here on Dave because we started this at sell a mattress in 5 minutes or less, and I'm a big believer of point and shoot. And one of the things that we have is we have a trade patent, and one of the things that I love about Stuart Carlitz is that he said, don't just put something in a bed for the sake of putting it in. Make sure that it's functional. And he came up with this trade patent. It's called Spinal Zone. And we have a special quilt process on here where we actually tighten up and densify the quilting in that center third of the bed. We leave it loose at both the head and the foot sections. Your shoulders are the widest part of your body. You need a little bit more forgiveness in that area. Of course, your weight's concentrated in that center third of that bed. That's where the quilts are densified. Underneath that densified quilt, we run a 1/2 inch of gel infused memory foam, and it's 20 inches wide. It's not just a little thin strip, and that reinforces the center. We have all sorts of documentation. There's a great video on the Eclipse website that actually goes through and shows the spinal zone animation of how the spinal zone goes into a mattress. Of all the things that Eclipse has, I will tell you that that's like number one on my list. It just makes selling a mattress so easy. It's absolutely wonderful.
Well, it's visual.
Yep.
It reduces body impressions by 90%.
Yep.
And our returns company-wide are less than 0.25%. Never in my career, and I work with the finest bedding manufacturers, that our returns are this low. Visual,
Yep.
it does something for you. reduces body impressions almost 100%, and the stuff stays in the home. And it's from, my God, $7.99 to $12.99. And that,
You know, there's an ad on TV for football that says better pizza, better ingredients, and the same thing holds true for mattresses.
Yeah, it's true. The other thing that I like about the tighter quilting in the middle, it's a sign to the sales pro at retail. Talk about this. This is, our spinal zone. Talk about this. It's a visual cue to talk about it to the consumer. And anytime we can do that with our sales pros, we want to do that because it's helping our retailer to sell better quality beds. So there are so many reasons to come to market. There are so many reasons to come to Bedding Industries of America's space. And we've gotten a little deep into some of the specs because we're all mattress geeks here. All right. So that we'll just lay that out there. We're mattress geeks. And if I was going to give David a different name, I would say he has a doctorate in mattressology because, it's a degree that has not yet appeared, but it's going to be, and he's going to be the one that teaches it. One of the most important things that I think you as a retail store owner can get from coming into Bedding Industries of America's space is over 200 to 300 years of experience, and not just 200 to 300 years of experience between their team, but of passion. When you go into the showroom, you can feel the energy in that showroom, and you will see top 100s in that showroom all the time. It's not an unusual event. It happens every day at market. And guys, you need to be there for the energy. You need to be there for the passion. You need to be there for the knowledge. If you talk to David or to Steve for 10 minutes, I guarantee you'd learn 3 or 4 things that you didn't know about the mattress industry. And I don't care if you've been in it 20 or 30 years. I've been in it 40 years, and I learn things from these guys all the time. So be a good student and go to school. And if you're going to be in Vegas, you really do need to stop in. Guys, I really appreciate all the time. I know that Stuart's probably sitting over there going like, hey, guys, hey, back to work.
not far from wrong.
No, but listen, I love Stuart. I've loved watching his career and how aggressive he's been and how successful he's been. And, I barely know him. It's probably one of the regrets of my career that I don't know him better, because everything that I see that he does has really been magical. Especially in the last 10 years. I don't think anyone has pushed all in at the right time with the right product story, with the right differentiating. He just has vision, and you guys are an important part of that vision. The fact that he brings in top-notch talent and listens to it. So guys, let's just take a step back and pretend like we own a mattress store or we own a furniture store, and we're coming to market for the first time. You guys, between the two of you, are over 80 years of experience. What would your recommendation be to this retailer to help him or her have a really good market?
Well, obviously,
The candy store.
yeah, I make a joke, and I do, and I mean it when I do it. But when someone walks into our showroom, I usually ask them, how many years have you been in the bedding business, especially if I don't know them. And whatever the answer is, 10, 20, 15, whatever, I'm going to say, man, you're in luck today, because anybody that's in the bedding business that walks into my showroom, it's like taking a kid into a candy store. And
Yes.
You know, it's funny because most people don't get that statement at the beginning, and usually about 20 minutes or 25 minutes into the presentation, they have a eureka moment and they said, now I understand why you said that. And boy, this is like a kid in a candy store in here. And you know, we didn't even talk about our towel lay program. And you know, that is to me,
Go ahead, talk about it. We have time. Let's talk.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you, you know, it's funny, but you talk to, if you have 100 bedding executives in a room and you go around and you ask them, what's in your mattress? What's in your mattress? I guarantee about 95 out of that 100 are going to tell you a towel lay. You know, it's probably the best component that's used in the bedding industry. You know, it has airflow, it has comfort, it's got density, it's longevity. I mean, it's got all of the boxes checked. And yeah, it's probably the least sold premium bedding that's out there. And you know, it just amazes me year in, year out. You know, how we all gravitate toward towel lay, but we never get the retailers and we're the consumers to gravitate toward it. You know, we've done something really special with our Natural Dreams collection, 100% towel lay top to bottom. We have put organic cotton covers around those, which we just got GOTS certified. We have Calmira New Zealand wool as our FR barrier. We put what's that?
You're tufting,
and then we tufted it, which gave the towel lay mattress a whole different characteristic. I mean, these beds, it's what I sleep on. You know, I have all these great mattresses to choose from, and ask me what I sleep on. I sleep on towel lay. And it's funny because I had probably one of the best mattresses that was made. It had a couple inches of towel lay on a coil construction, and my wife would never let me bring another mattress home. And finally, after, I hate to say this, after about 10 years, I said, hon, we got to get a new one. And I brought an all towel lay Natural Dreams bed home. And she said, why did you make me wait? So, yeah, you can't win for losing sometime, but you know, it's just absolutely amazing. And we talked about adjustable ability. There's nothing that works better on an adjustable bed than a towel lay bed. And the comfort, the density, I don't know. I'm a sleep guy. I mean, my head hits the pillow, I'm asleep in 7 seconds, and I sleep all night long. And if I don't have an alarm set, I'm gone 8 hours. You know,
again, since we're older in this industry, and my uncle was in the bedding industry too. When Sears and Roebuck in the 60s and 70s were the king of retail, 38% of their bedding business was latex.
Yep.
38%. You know why? Well, a third of their floor was. And number two, it never came back.
Yeah.
It lasted 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not here to say a mattress should do that, Pete. Don't get me wrong. But this is it's just, and it's natural.
Yeah.
Towel lay, it's natural.
Yep.
There's no chemicals. By the way, the towel lay we use, there's a lot of latex, pure rubber, come from the rubber tree. It's only 82, 84%. We're 98.7%, 100% pure. That's the real thing.
So I just want to dive into one thing really quickly. The one criticism that sometimes you can get from certain consumers with a all towel lay bed is that it's too bouncy. And by taking that and tufting it, what you're doing is you're taking some of that extra bounce out of it. So that is brilliant, guys.
Yeah.
From one mattress geek to another.
Means
just
a lot.
Excellent. Just excellent. So a mattress store owner or furniture store owner who wants to get serious about his mattress business or her mattress business, they're going to Vegas. They want to make sure they hook up with you guys. What's the best way? I mean, if they're curious and they want to pick up the phone or they want an email, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Well, they're welcome to email me, you know, at skarns at bia-nj.com. which
Okay.
Pete, I know you have it.
I do.
Or David, same D Tenuta at bianj.com. But the main thing is, if they're there, we love to have you come in. We always have a team of professionals there. We usually have someone in your marketplace in our space, so that we can sit down and talk. But we really try to focus on a whole bunch of things, from the display to the training to the product. We try to cover all bases there. One of the things we talked in depth about training, we do, and I think you've seen a copy of it, the ESP training, the Eclipse Selling program. It's about 3 years worth of training that's measurable and trackable. And it starts from first day hires and goes the whole way through team building. And it's a pretty in-depth training program. It's actually structured. A lot of videos in each one of the segments. There's 5 books, and each book has 5 chapters in it. And we really want you to read the materials. We want you to meet with your reps and review that material. And then at the end, there's a review, so that you can actually track your performance through the book. So it's very thoughtfully laid out. And you want to do any one thing, buy some of our mattresses and get into our training program. Guarantee you your bedding business is going to go up.
That's huge. As a matter of fact, if you haven't been in the Bedding Industry Network in a little bit, last night a retailer asked for ideas and sales trainers, and your name was put forward.
How about that?
So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting and somewhat pathetic that we make our retailers go outside of our brands to find a trainer. We should be doing that.
Yep.
We should be doing that, and we should do it so well that they love to implement anything that we have to say, because they know that we've gone through and made sure that this is the best of the best training that you can give your salespeople, close more sales and have happier customers. Because at the end of the day, we need to have happy customers.
Yep.
If the customer isn't happy with the experience, they're not going to give a 5-star online review. They're not going to give a testimonial, and they're not going to give a referral. And without those 3 things, you're out of business. You're out of business in today's new world. I'm sorry. Things have changed. So,
You're
guys,
right.
And one thing we didn't
Sure.
mention, which I think is really important, is that there is 12 facilities coast to coast that produce our BIA family of products. And from Florida to Oregon, from Southern California, where Stuart just put up a brand new state-of-the-art facility, and I have Mr. Mike Moore there running that facility, the whole way up and through New England. I mean, we cover everything, Midwest and Chicago and Texas, wherever you are, we have a factory nearby.
Yep. And not just 12 factories that make some of the most loved and highest reviewed brands that you may not know of in the industry are made by those 12 factories. So I think that's worth noting. But guys and gals, if you're going to Vegas, you owe it to yourself to drop in B1118, B1118, and stop in, say hi to David, say hi to Steve. And you should never go to any space for the food, but I will tell you, I am a foodie and their food is excellent and they are gracious hosts. You should stop in and make it a point. Guys, thank you for taking an hour. I can just see, I know Stuart's going like this. Guys, back to work. Thank you so much for coming on. And listen, I'll see you in a few weeks. I get in on Friday, and
Same here.
I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you guys got. It's always exciting. You guys are always doing new and unique things, and you're always the most colorful spot in market. So I appreciate everything that you guys do and all the hard work. Anybody that listened to this as a podcast and was not able to see the visuals, just go to YouTube and pull it up. It'll be there. All the links are there. The emails are there. Everything's there. Get in touch with these guys. Your mattress business will thank you for it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Pete.
Take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.